This video discusses how to work with data registers and how to do branching in a teach-pendant program. So as we look here, we have this program that goes around the brown box and on the screen, the red box, and then around the blue cylinder. And it goes around the red box twice, and it goes around the blue cylinder actually 3 times. But so this is one large program that goes around all 3 of these fixtures. And so what we want to do is we want to break the programs up into 3 separate programs, one that'll go around each of the fixtures, and then we're going to call those based on a select statement. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come over to data. Now notice it's just running, the robot's running in auto mode, but we can come into our data registers. We can view the data registers. We can view what line, if we hit edit, we view what line is running on the program. But if we click over data, we can come over here and we can view the data, and we can actually change a data register. Okay, so notice when you press data, you get to the data registers. But if you select type, there's some other choices there. There's position registers, string registers, and then there's some other various registers and things that are available. If you have a vision system, the vision registers would also be in there. All right. But we can come in here, and the first thing we can do is we can actually label these. So we can come in here and label our things. I'm going to label the first one select. Okay, and I'm going to use lowercase or mixed case just to make it a little more readable. So that is going to be my select register. And then I'm going to, while I'm here, I'm just going to go ahead and create a couple other. Now these registers are already actually created, but they I'm going to go ahead and add labels to them. Number 2 is going to be a speed, and number 3 is going to be a termination. Percentage. So let me see, maybe I can't do percent. All right, so so I'm just going to label these. Now the values, by default, the values are all 0, but these values could be anything. So we could come in here, and even though the robot is running in full auto right now, I can come in here and I can just change any data value to be any value that I want. So you have to be very careful here, because if you actually have a program that's using one of these data registers, you don't want it to be changed to an invalid value that may cause issues with your program. So all right, so I'm going to go ahead and turn my teach pendant on here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a program. So I'm going to go to select, and AA motion, that's the program that's currently running. Remember, we can actually see that up here because you see above the word select there, the highlighted line, it actually says AA motion. And so, of course, that tells us what program is actually running. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit next. And you see F1 now says copy. So I'm going to copy this program, AA motion. And I'm going to change this. And I'm going to keep it as AA. Remember, we should use our last initial, first initial. But in the video here, I'm just using AA so that they'll be at the top of the program list. And so this one here now is going to be the brown. Better abbreviate, I guess. So this is going to be the brown box, and this is going to be we're going to select this program when the select register is set to a 1. And so I'm just going to go ahead and put a 1 there as a reminder of that. And then it says copy, and I'm going to say yes. So here's my program right above there. I'm going to go into this program. Now I still want to have my frame, but so I'm going to keep my frame settings in there. And so the first thing that I want to do now to get into here, we're going to have to, what I'm going to do later is I'm going to create a program called select that'll allow me, if I enter a 1 for my select register, then it'll put me into this program. So I'm going to start here by resetting the, after I initialize my frames, I'm going to reset the select register. So I'm going to come in here and set the select register. And so I'm going to go to next to get to instruction. And notice that registers are the very first instruction. So I'm going to hit enter there. And now you can see that you can like do addition. You can say number 1 is just a assignment equality thing where we can say register whatever is equal to whatever. So that's just a direct assignment. Number 2 has a plus sign, so we could add things together. Number 3, we could subtract. It's got a negative sign. Number 4 is a multiplication, and so on through there. Now, one thing to note about math in TP programs, you can't like multiply and add in the exact same statement. So you can either multiply and divide in one statement, but you can't do any subtraction or addition if you are trying to do multiplication or division. Or vice versa. If you're doing multiplication, you can't do addition. Okay, so you actually have to make that a separate statement. And that's just something to keep in mind there. So, but anyhow, I'm going to select a register. Just an ordinary register. This is going to be number 1 register, which is my select register. Now, I've just labeled it as select. It's just a data register as far as the program is concerned. But it's when I talk about my select register, it's the one that I labeled select. Now, in assignment here, you can assign lots of different things to it. You can assign it information from another register. Or you can assign it an output value. DO stands for digital output. DI is digital input. RO is robot output. RI is robot inputs. So these are inputs and output values from robots. 7 is a group output. And then I go to the next page. I have a group input. I have input from SO would be an input from something like the standard operator panel, and SI would be input from the standard operator panel. 4 is UO, which would be output from like a PLC device. You can actually there's actually timers built into the system, so you can actually get values from timers. And AO would be analog output, AI would be analog input, and PR is the position register. So you can pull one of the values out of the position register. So there's just lots of different things that we can choose, but I'm just going to make it a constant right now. I'm just going to force it back to 0. So notice you have to go down to select constant, and then you can type in your constant value, which, just hit the numpad here and type in your constant value. All right, so I reset register 1 to select. I'm going to insert a line here, and I am going to go to instruction again. I'm going to go to register, and I'm going to go to register number 2. So register number 2 now is just going to be a constant, and that constant is going to be 50, which is going to represent my speed, which is going to be 50 millimeters per second. All right, so you notice right now I have my home point, and then I'm going to go down to the rectangle, which is point 2, the corner where the two boxes meet. And so that's going to be point 2, and I'm going to use joint motion to go there. But then points 3, 4, 5, and then back to 2 go around my box. Those are shown by the green line going around the brown box there. And then we're going to start remember, this is a copy of that entire program that we saw when the video first started. So I want to just delete all the rest of this down to about the end there. So I'm going to come over to my delete. So edit command, delete. And then I'm going to highlight everything. I'm just going to delete all the rest of this program in here, except for I want to return back to the home, and I'm going to leave the last 2 lines, and I'm going to overwrite the 1 line. Okay, so now this program here, I probably could have left a couple more lines there, but so we're going to start up here. We're going to go to the corner where the 2 boxes touch, and then we're going to go around the thing and then return back to that corner, and then we're going to return back home. All right, but right here I want to change this. Now remember that if you go to instruction, you're going to change something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a counter here. So I'm going to select register, and I'm going to come down and select the register plus. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select a register, which is going to be my select register, register number 1, which I've already set to 0 at the beginning. And then I'm going to set register 1 is equal to itself plus a constant of 1. And so this is a counter. So what I'm going to do is at the top of this program, register 1 is 0, and I'm going to set register 1 equal to 0 plus 1, so I'm just making a counter. Then I'm going to use an if statement. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to insert a couple of lines. The other thing I want to do is increase my speed register, which I also did. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to select insert, I'm going to insert 2 more lines. And so on line 13, I'm going to do another register line, and I'm going to advance my speed register. So remember, my speed register, I started at 50, which is going to be my speed, which is going to be millimeters per second. And I'm going to double that speed. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to double this speed. So I'm going to come down to multiply and select register number 2, which is my speed register. And I'm going to multiply that times the constant of 2. And so now every time I go through this loop, I'm going to double that. I'm now going to go to an if statement. So I'm going to go to instruction, and number 3 is ifs or selects, and I'm going to select an if statement, and I want to select less than or equal to. So if register number 1 is less than or equal to the constant the constant 5. We'll just do the constant 5. This is going to go pretty fast then when I run this. Then I'm going to jump back to label 1. Now the thing is, I don't have a label in my program, so I need to come back to the beginning of the program. Right here at line 8, I'm going to insert 1 more line. Now remember, a quick insert, if you just need a single line, you have to go to edit command, and then of course there's insert. Press enter and enter 1 more time real quick. You don't have to punch the number 1 if you just want 1 line. It'll default to a 1 line. And I'm going to insert a label now. So I'm going to insert the label. And this is going to be my label number 1. And I can come, oops, I selected jump. So I just want to go, I just want the label, not the jump. Okay, so I need to come down to 2 and label this. So this is going to be label number 1. And remember, this is going to be the brown box. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to hit enter, and I'm just going to go ahead and label this then. This is the start around the brown box. Around, I'm running out of room here, so I'm just going to put brown there. Okay. And so we can label these. All right. And the other thing is, though, when you look at these speeds here, you see these speeds. My speeds are 100 millimeters per second. I'm going to change this. So I'm going to go to choice, or I'm sorry, not choice, register. Oops. I'm going to come here to this speed, and I'm going to go to register, and I'm going to make it a register, and that's going to be my speed register number 2. And so this is then going to allow this to change as we run through the register. It's going to change speed, and it's going to go faster and faster. So register 2, and I'm just changing each one of these. Register 2. All right, so it's just going to go through each one of these. So when we run this program now, so I'm going to come over here, I'm going to hit play, and I'm going to tell it to run this program. And you can see, so it started at the home, and it's going around the box. And remember, if we come back to data, notice that my speed is set to 50 because I initialized that at the top of the program right there at line 5. My speed register is 50 and my R1 register is 0. So the select, which is the R register 1, is 0, and the speed of the robot is being set by register number 2. So you look here, right, the speed is in millimeters per second, and it was initialized, it's register 2, which was initialized to 50. And so you see it went around, but now watch. Select advance to 1, and the speed doubled from 50 to 100. So as we went around, our counter advanced. And so now as we go around the second time, we're going around faster, right? Because our speed is based on that register, which is now 100 millimeters per second. We hit here, boom. Now we're at the second one, and we're doing 200 millimeters per second. We're going even faster. And when we get around this, it's going to go to 3. And it's going to double again, so now it's doing 400 millimeters per second. And we get around, we're going faster. We go to 5, and it's 800 millimeters per second. And one more time, 1600 millimeters per second, and boom, we're back, and we're done. So that is the program brown box. Okay. So similarly, we can create another program. I'm going to create yet another program. This time I'm just going to create a new one and use copy and paste. So I'm going to create a new program. This is going to be my Redbox. And in this Redbox, I'm going to just come over here. This is going to be, again, I'm just using AA here to keep it at the top of the program for my initials. And then it's going to be the red box, and I'm going to label this one 2 because if we go to select, we're going to do that one. Select 2 is going to select that one. And oops, forgot to enable my appendix. So I was able to create the program, but I can't add to the program until I do that. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to come back to my first program, and I'm going to copy some lines out of my original motion program. So I'm going to pop back here, and I'm going to copy these first few lines. So I'm going to come over here, edit command number 3. I'm going to copy. I'm going to select copy and select these first 4 lines, and I'm going to hit copy again. Now I'm going to go to select, and I'm going to paste this into my new program. All right, now if I paste it into the new program, which was Redbox, and so I'm going to come over here, edit command down to the copy, and then I'm going to select paste. Now, if I paste PID, I want to remind you here, if I select paste PID, point 1 exists, but if we look at point 1, there's nothing in it, right? So you actually have to set point 1 there. So remember your paste options here. So if right now point 1 was copied, the ID number 1 was copied, but the actual position values was not copied. So I need to come over here and do a touch up so that this point actually contains data. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to that original motion program, and I'm going to come down to the code for the red box. Okay. Actually, before I do that, I guess let me go ahead and insert the lines that I want. I'm going to come to data. Remember that we had data, we had a speed and a termination, and I'm going to go ahead and create another one here. I'll call number 5. I'm going to label as percentage. Okay, so I'm just going to label this one as percentage. And so I have a termination and a percentage. And so if we go over to our program, then I'm going to select my Redbox program, and right here now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to insert the instruction, and I'm going to insert the register instruction for percentage, and I'm going to actually I'll do my select one first because I like to keep them in order. So I'm going to reset my select, which was register 1. I'm going to reset it to 0 for my counter. So that's just going to be the constant 0. And then I'm going to insert another register, which is going to be my register 5, which is going to be my percentage. And I'm going to set that to 10%. Okay, so this is going to be 10%. Or it's register 5. And I'm going to start that, I guess, at like 10%. So I need a constant here, which is just going to enter the 10 in. Okay. Now notice that's just a number. It's not a percentage until I apply it, because you can't actually assign units to it. It's just a number at this point, 10. All right, and so then I'm going to go ahead and insert my label. So I'm going to have my label 1. Now notice label 1 in this program is completely different than label 1 in the other program. So I'm going to select and put this, and this is going to be label 1. And I'll come up here and label 1 as an integer. I'm sorry, this is Redbox. What am I thinking? Okay, so this is Redbox loop. We're going to loop around to Redbox here. And so now I'm going to pop back to my motions, and I'm going to grab the code to go around that box. So I'm going to come, that was a motion program, and I'm going to scroll down here to the code that starts the red box. And I'm going to go ahead and grab the remark line also. So I'm going to start at the remark line. I'm going to go to Edit, and I am going to copy. So I'm going to go to number 3, and I'm going to copy, and I'm going to start at line 11, which is just that, and then I'm going to arrow down, and I'm going to copy the lines that go around the red box, okay, it's actually going in a clockwise manner, okay, but I'm going to copy that code, and so I press copy again. Then I'm going to go back to my Redbox program, come down to the end of the program, and I'm going to paste. So edit, back to copy, and now I select paste. But this time I'm going to paste the position, because remember, position pastes the actual point in space and then assigns the next ID numbers available in the program. So I'm going to paste position, and so there we can see it's going to position 1, and then 2, 3, 4, and 5 is the corner. Okay, and so I want to go back to 5. So I'm going back to the corner. Okay. And then, let's see, just double checking my points here. So point 1, point 2, okay, so I actually need to a point 5 right in here. So I'm going to edit, because we need to go to what's labeled point 5 as corner. We need to go to that first. So I'm going to go ahead and go to edit command, and I'm going to insert my line in here, and then come back, and I'm just going to add this point. Okay, and then now, so this is going to be my 0.5. And now notice here at percent speed, this is a speed, so I'm going to put in my register here, which was register 5, and also the continuous. I'm going to put in a register. Oops. At the continuous, I'm also going to put in the register 5. And so I'm going to change the speed and the percentage piece here. So F1, register 5, 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 and I'm just setting these. Now you could use the copy and replace code. F1, 5. But when there's only 4 or 5 of them, it's kind of, you know, whether you want to use the find and replace option under here. So we could go to edit, and we could do a number 5, replace, which we could then do a search and find them and do a replace. But when there's only 5 of them, it's probably just as easy to just go in there and edit them. Okay, so now I've got my code and I'm changing the speed and the termination based on register 5. And so now I need to come back here to instruction. I need to go to register. I need to advance my counter. So I need to come over here and advance my counter, or I could, let me forget about that. Instead of, well, I already selected that one, I guess. I was going to paste from the other program, but I'd already entered it. So it's register 1, which needs to be a constant, which is going to be 1. So I'm going to make that a constant and add 1. So that's my counter program, my counter there. And then, like I say, if we wanted to, we could have come to our brown box program, for instance, and come down here to the end. And these last few lines here, 14, 15, and 16, I'm going to copy. So I'm just going to come copy those. Press F2, select your lines, press copy again. You can't forget to press copy again. Then go back to my Redbox program. Come down to the end. Remember, you can hit the shift key to get down there faster. And so we come down to the end, or I could actually just up arrowed, which would have, or I guess it won't roll there. So I'm going to paste, edit command. I'm going to paste those 3 lines. Let's see, copy, paste. Now, I can pick any paste I want at the moment because there's no motion. Well, there was only one motion instruction. Yeah, there was a motion instruction, so I guess I should have did an ID number, but I can just come in and pop that back. Okay, now remember point 1 was actually my home point. But anyhow, so this was register 2. I actually want to make this register 5. Now, this was doing multiplication, so I want to change that. So we can change it on the fly if we need to. We just arrow over to the multiplication, go to choice, and we can either remove it or we can make it a plus or a minus sign or whatever you want to make it there. So I'm going to make that, and I'm going to add, say 25%. So every time around, I'm going to go 25% faster. And I'm going to do that 4 times. Okay. All right, so now I'm just going to run this program and test this program, see how it works. Okay, and so you should step through it, right? Every time you go through here, you should step through it. But since this is simulation, I'm just going to kind of cheat and hit the play button and see what it does. All right, so we're doing a joint motion. We're going around the box. All right, so we're going kind of slow here. We're speeding up. Okay, so if we go to data, remember we're speeding up by 25% every time. Also notice though, as we do that, because we're using joint motions and because we're doing continuous terminations that are, and the percentage of that is increasing, that actually only went up to 110. Well, it went up to 110%, which of course gave us an invalid value. So I need to come back here. And down here at the bottom of my program now, turn your teach pennant on. Don't forget to turn your teach pennant back on. 25% was too much, running 4 times, right? So if I do 20%, let me do 20%, because it's starting, I'm starting at 10%. So that'll be 30, 50, 70, and 90. So that should work. So let's go ahead and hit play and run it again. All right, so remember on the real robot, you definitely want to use the forward and test this before you try going to auto mode. You need to make sure that you don't cause any serious damage. Okay, so I need to restart it because it had errored out there on us. Okay, now it's selected a red color, which is very hard to see with the red box, but you can see it's doing joint motions because it's not following the lines, right? These are joint motions. And also it's starting to round off each time. It's rounding off more and more because the percentage is increasing. Okay, so you notice the percentage. Now it's still, the last value went up to 20, but it had already stopped at that point, or 110. The last value got to 110. So it starts at 10. It's going around the box. All right. It just barely rounds off at the corner there, so it almost does the corner. Then it comes back around. This time it's going to be further away from the corner. And now we're at 50%, so we're further away from the corner, 70% further away from the corner, 90% further away from the corner. All right, and so you can see how it maps along there. So let's just watch that one more time here. All right, so far we've used data registers, we've advanced the data registers, we've multiplied them, we've added to them, one of the things I want to remind you is at the beginning of your program, you need to initialize your registers. Now you don't have to, but if you don't, then you don't know where they were at. All right, so like if I wasn't initializing this register here, number 5, or number 1, I guess it is, if I wasn't initializing this, right, notice that my counter is currently 5. So if I did not initialize it in the program and it's already at 5, then I'm only going to run through the for loop once and then it'll be done, because at the end of the for loop, I'm doing the count and I'm not running. So I would run through it once, but then no more. All right. So now I'm going to create a select program, which I'm going to use to select one of these two. Okay. And so I'm going to come over here to select. I'm going to create a brand new program. Again, I'll just label the first 2 letters will be AA. And then I'm going to label this one select. And then in this select program now, I'm going to create a little bit of a while loop here. And I'm going to, in this while loop, so I'm going to start a counter that I'm going to go ahead and use my select. So I'm going to go to instruction, register, and this register is, I'm just going to set my register select equal to 0 to just start this off. So it'll be a constant, and the constant's going to be 0 to start it off. Then I'm going to have a label, and again, this label, I can reuse label 1 because label 1 in this program is different than label 1 in the other programs. Okay, so labels are just to this one program. And so I've got my label here. And now I'm going to do a select. So I'm going to go to instruction, and I'm going to go to if select, and then I'm going to go to the next page. And now under select, notice there's 3 different choices for select. Only the first one has the word select in capitals. So you need to start with that one. And then I'm going to use my select register. And I'm sorry, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to use my select register. And my select register here, if select is equal to the constant of 1, then I'm going to make a call to my brown box. Now I'm going to do select again, but notice this time when I go to select, I choose the second one, which only has the select in lowercase. So when I select this one, notice it doesn't put the word select again. It just gives me an equal sign. And then I need to just say, is this equal to number 2? And if that's the case, then I'm going to call my second program. And so I'm going to call the second program, which is the Redbox. And now I'm going to use a wait statement. So I'm going to insert a wait statement, and I'm just going to wait a few seconds so that I have time to put in a data entry. And then I'm going to use the if statement to return back to label 1. So if, or I'm sorry, no, I'm not. I'm just going to return back to label 1 because I don't need an if. I'm just going to, we call an infinite loop. I'm just going to do a jump back to label 1. All right, so let's look at this program again. All right, so at the very top, I'm just going to force my register to 0. But then I have my label. So here now at my label, I'm just going to return to the label. So if the program is, if the register is 0, then it's not equal to 1, so I'm not going to call the brown box. It's not equal to 2, so I'm not going to call the red box. I'm going to wait 2 seconds, and I'm going to jump back up here. And so it's not going to do anything. So I'm going to go ahead and run this program, and it's basically sitting here at the wait. I'm waiting, I'm waiting, I'm waiting, I'm waiting. And you see every once in a while you may see it jump off of the line number right there because it if you saw that, it bumped, because actually it is running through all this code, but it's running through all the lines from 2. It's never going back to line 1. It's only going to line 2. So you see it pop up there. You see it every once in a while. You can see it flicker up to 2 and 3. It never goes back to line 1 because the jump is jumping to line 2, which is label 1. And so now if I come over to data and I come over, now I'm running in full auto mode. If I put in a 1, I can change this data register on the fly. So I put in a 1, and so it's now running through the brown box program. And we can hit edit, and we can sit here and watch it go through the brown box program. And it's running through here. And of course, it's going through kind of slow the first time around. But remember, the speed, register number 2 was set to 50 inside of the brown box program. So it initialized that to 50, which represents 50 millimeters per second for the speed inside of program 2. But remember now, once it hits the corner, boom, we've now advanced it. So the select went to 1, the speed went to 100, so it's moving faster. And these are linear motions, and they're also fine terminations. So notice when it gets to the corner, it just hesitates at each corner just for a second because those are fine terminations in here. So they're fine terminations. Now we hit the corner again. We've doubled our speed. We've advanced our counter. We're going around again. And we're going around faster. So we get down here, line 13. We advance our counter. Line 14, we double our speed again, and we're going even faster. And we get up to 800 millimeters per second. 1600 millimeters per second, and then we return. Now notice that notice up here at the very top it says AA select. We're back in the select program, sitting here at the wait statement. Flipping back up to lines 2, 3, and 4. Boom, boom, boom. You see that flicker there just a second ago. You can rewind the video to that and see that it jumps up there every once in a while. So if I come back to data, now if I select inside my select, now notice the select is 6 now. So it's not 1 and then it's not 2. I probably should have reset it in my program, in my brown box program. I should have reset it to 0, but I didn't include that, nor did I include it in the red box. But now I'm going to punch this to a 2, and now it's going to run the Redbox program. So it's going to, it's running Redbox. You can see it says that right up in here. And we can pop over here and you can see it running through the Redbox. And it's going faster, right? So the speed, or it's not the speed, it's the percentage piece that's running. Okay. So again, now my select is at 5, which is not 1 or 2. I can force it back to a 2 to force it to do the red box yet again. And so now it's going to run through the red box, and the percentage down here, the percentage line, it starts at 10. We get around once, we increase it by 20, so it's 30, 50, 70, 90, and then the last time 110, it never actually, it exited the loop. So remember in the Redbox program, it added 20, so it was a 90, it added 20, but then the if statement failed at that point because the select statement was already at 5 and that box said run it at 4. Okay, so there is a select statement. Okay, now, so remember the first time we did a select, we went to if select number 3. Then we went to the next page, number 8, or you can arrow over. Then the first time we selected number 1, which was the select, which used the register. The second time, the select, I just chose number 2, which just had the equal. And then if we needed to or wanted to, we could add an else, but you don't have to. So remember, my program is not actually using the else option. It just has the select, and if register is equal to 1, I'm calling the brown box program. If it's equal to a 2, then I'm calling the red box program. All right, so we can set data registers, we can set our, we can use if statements, we can call other programs, or we can jump back into other places inside of our current program.